My name is Bindi Green. I am the manager of the touring program here at Regional Arts Victoria. I'm joining you here from the area I'm here in Maribyrnong tonight, and that was an area, it was a significant meeting place for the Wurundjeri Wurrung and the Bunurong people and the clans of the Kulin Nation. So it's quite a special place to be planning activities and planning travelling, touring and adventures out across the state of Victoria. We also have with us this evening Jim Rimmer, who is our grants manager. He will be overseeing this grant amongst many other of the grant programs that are administered by Regional Arts Victoria. And we also have Luth Wolf here, who's the co-manager with Stephanie Clark of our Creative Learning program, which tours out to school communities across the state. So the three of us are your team for this evening. Just a note on accessibility for the session tonight. We'll be doing a bit of screen sharing, but you can kind of highlight in the options, the view options, you can choose to keep the speakers highlighted, or you can keep the gallery live. Either is have your screen set up how you prefer. You can turn on captions for the live transcript during this session. There's a menu bar at the base of the screen, and if you look for that circle with the three dots, that brings up a menu with lots of options, and you can turn on the closed captions there. We can also provide support, so if Luth will be standing by to kind of help in the background. So if you need a bit of extra support, or if you've got a question or you're having a bit of trouble, then Luth will be standing by. So reach out to her in the chat function and she'll be able to help you. As you'll have seen when we came in, this is being recorded, this session. We will put the recording up live on our website in a few days' time, and that will be available for you to come back and watch at any time. We ask you to please, there's quite a big group here tonight, which is great. We'll ask you to please stay on mute unless you're asking a question. Video is optional. Very happy for you to keep the screen off if that works for you. Very happy to see your lovely faces if you're keen to stay on. We really want you to kind of join with us in these online sessions in a way that you feel comfortable and works for you, how you want to take the information in to the best of your ability. We'll do this in a couple of parts. We'll have Jim will speak about the grant and go through some of the guidelines and the application process for the Small Regional Presenters Grant. And then we'll have some questions on that part at the end of his section. After that, we'll have a look through the touring program that we offer here at RAV and our new thing that we're doing this year, our new initiative, which is a production profile menu, which sort of gives you a range of some other options to consider, things that you might want at shows and activities you might be interested in bringing to your town. We'll be screen sharing throughout as we go. We've got a mix of going in and out of websites, and as well as looking at some of the slides we've got up just as a bit of a prompt. So you can join along at your however works for you. Once we get into having a look through the websites, very happy for you to kind of jump in and follow in your own website session. Thanks very much, everybody. I am going to hand over to Jim, and he is going to have a chat through the SRP.
Thanks, Bindi. Welcome everybody, and thanks for your interest in the Small Regional Presenters program. So the first slide here is basically super top level summary of what the Small Regional Presenters offer is. The objectives of the program. This program is delivered by Creative Victoria through Regional Arts Victoria. So it is a devolved program because of Creative Victoria's recognition of the expertise of Regional Arts Victoria. So the specific objectives of the program quality, relevance, capacity building, and sustainability. And they are amongst the assessment criteria as well. So they are super important objectives to consider the whole time through the application process and to revisit and refine throughout that process. So the maximum request for the program is $15,000. The higher the request, obviously, the greater the level of scrutiny amongst the assessors. But the request amount also gives an indication of the ambition of the program. So it isn't, the two are conjacent. Applications close on the end of October. At the end of October, activities are for 1 March until the 31st of December 2026. This is a slightly narrower activity window than previous SRP offers. Anything outside of that delivery window is basically outside the realm of funding. The program is designed to build capacity amongst small regional presenters and also local governments in partnership with small regional presenters. The exclusions or ineligibility are those small regional presenters or local governments that are in receipt of multi-year funding from Creative Victoria. The program focuses on new, emerging, and experienced presenters. So there's scope for each. The objectives that I mentioned earlier are linked to the capacity building and sustainability of the program. So we're wanting to see outcomes that potentially extend beyond the presentations. And timelines are pretty squishy with this program for reasons beyond our control. So notifications for applicants will come out in mid-January. I am just going to switch screens. If I can. Change? No. Sorry, bear with me for a moment. Sorry, just swapping between screens. Apologies for this. Bindi or Luce?
Yeah, do you want me to pop up my jump into the website?
Yeah, that'd be great. Good.
Yeah, no worries. Okay.
So on our website, to navigate to this particular funding opportunity, on the top bar, prospective applicants can go to the funding tab and through that find Small Regional Presenters Program. This is one amongst the many offers of Regional Arts Victoria. So our advice would be to be quite specific about what you're looking for. The objectives of the program, as I mentioned earlier, are very much focused on quality, relevance, building capacity, sustainability of practice, in addition to prioritising those communities that have limited opportunities and access to high quality presentation outcomes. So in the Small Regional Presenters space on our website, there's an introduction, which is a very, very small summary, outlines the funding that's available. Underneath that is an outline of, and in numerous tabs, the eligibility of organisations, the eligibility of specific activities, as well as key dates and the process for applying through Smarty Grants. The types of applicants that we're focusing on for this program is very much geared toward grassroots community organisations, both new and emerging, and those that have been doing similar activities for quite some time. In regards to the new and emerging applicants, what the assessors will be looking for is a level of confidence in the previously demonstrated abilities of your team. So it might be a new team or a new collective that have come together, but the experience that those individual members bring to that team will be crucial in successful outcomes. In the guidelines, sorry, Bindi, can you scroll down just a little? In the how to apply section, there's a link to Smarty Grants. Smarty Grants is our preferred platform. You may be familiar with it through other applications, both with Regional Arts Victoria and other organisations. We'd recommend that you maintain existing logins if you're aware of them. In addition, the Smarty Grants platform is quite intuitive. If you have any glitches or gnarly points with the platform, please give us a shout out and we'll try to address those as quickly as we can. As you're going through the guidelines, we highly recommend interrogating both the eligibility of your entity and the eligibility of your activity. So these are all highlighted in the guidelines, what is eligible in both those respects and what is ineligible. So we hope that those outlines are sufficient to help guide you in your application process. Toward the end of the guidelines, there is an outline of the legal requirements, public liability insurance, expectations of working with children checks, etc. These constraints are beyond Regional Arts Victoria's control. They are basically the expectations of delivering programs in the modern funding environment. So yeah, we hope that you're able to address those expectations easily. I'm unable to share screen at the moment, unfortunately, so I can't go to the guidelines. Luth or Bindi, are you able to access the application form?
Yep. Oh, so oh, I don't know if I have a Smarty Grants application login.
At the top of that one, Bindi, there's preview the form, which should do it.
Oh, that's what I was looking for. Thank you. And actually, what's good is you can download the preview form.
Which is one of my biggest tips would be downloading the preview form, looking at the questions, interrogating all those questions and how your community's proposal aligns with them. I would also highly recommend working your application outside of the grant system. So using Word or similar programs to respond before putting those responses into the application system. The one area where this is exceptionally different from previous smaller regional presenters programs is for the first time we've included a suite of Regional Arts Victoria listed productions that applicants can choose from. This especially acknowledges the slightly narrower presentation window from previous years and also accommodates regional presenters not knowing who to approach for works in their local community. We will speak about these productions a little later, but in the application form, there are 10 productions that applicants can potentially choose from. There is also another field for other. So that is community initiated presentations or productions. As you're going through the process, those with the applications, those productions can be selected in any number of hybrid manners. So you might have a Regional Arts Victoria production linked with another self-initiated production. It could be entirely self-initiated productions. It could be entirely RAV, or as I said, a hybrid of each. During the assessment process, there will not be any weighting as to what productions have been chosen. The assessment criteria will continue to lead heavily into both quality and relevance and audience development, etc., in your local community. Further down in the application is the budget area. We expect in this budget area that the grant that you're applying for be included, most likely, as a non-confirmed income line. But we'd be really, really keen to see other contributors to the program, be they local government or in-kind contributors in the local community. In the support material for your application, it will be very advantageous to include letters of support or acknowledgement of in-kind support. In the budget area also, we're not just keen on learning, or the assessors rather, not us, the assessors, not just keen on learning about income from this grant, but also contributions from other sources, including box office. So this program is built toward public ticketed events. So there's an expectation that there will be a box office income. We also recognise that at this point, they're essentially projections. They're not set in stone. There's an area underneath the budget where you can include budget notes, where you can outline some of the formula and the expectations specific to your local community regarding those income and expenditure streams. Cleverly, the budget fields in Smarty Grants auto-calculate, which is quite advantageous, but there are some limits to the budget template in this platform. So if you feel the need to attach a deeper level of budget for your project, there's an availability to do that, reference that in support notes and include that in the support material. In the application process, there's a specific area for those projects that are working with First Nations communities to outline their engagement and consultation with those communities. Really, this is best practice with any community that you're working with, be it LGBTIQ+, people with disabilities, recent arrival communities, where we are quite specific about the expectations of working with First Nations communities, but this really is, as I said, best case scenario, best case practice for working with other communities. In regards to support material to attach to your application, we're very aware of the constraints of the particular fields in the application process. So your support material is an opportunity to add a little more flesh to the outline of your program, to connect the dots. As I mentioned, you can include additional budget details. I'd highly recommend for the assessors that you also include testimonials, information about your shows, letters of support, confirmation of in-kind support. In doing so, the best approach would be to amalgamate those attachments. So if you have say 4 letters of support, including them in the one document rather than 4 documents, because it will make life a lot easier for the assessors, and yeah, will essentially strengthen your application. When you're including amongst the support material, when you're including URLs or website references, please be really, really specific. If you're hoping to draw attention to specific examples of previous projects, include the URL to that project rather than just your website. In regards to grant application tips, I would highly recommend simplistic language. So we draw from a pool of assessors who are quite experienced in the touring of arts presentations to regional Victoria. There's nothing, each of the assessors will come with their own level of expertise. So they might come from a different region or a different art form. So really spelling out your project with the expectation of somebody that's not nearly as familiar with it as you are will be supremely advantageous. Similarly, if you get somebody to reread your application, somebody that has significant distance and can potentially do some sense checking for you, that will also be a great asset. Don't leave it to the last minute. All internet connections and electricity connections can fall out at the last minute. Our deadline is set in stone. It's built into the system, and there are no allowances for late applications. In the assets that are provided on our website, you have an ability to book a session with myself. These are limited to 15 minutes. It's a great opportunity for sense checking. If there's any niggles with your application, you can double check those. If I don't know the answer, I'll devolve it elsewhere in Regional Arts Victoria and ensure a swift turnaround. But yeah, don't leave yourself doubting at all. And at this point, I might hand over to Bindi to talk a little further about the suite of projects that RAV is supplying for this round for the first time.
Thanks, Jim. Some very good tips and tricks in there. One of the previous grant managers used to always, her mantra when she was talking to applicants was always to say, you can demonstrate why this activity and why your town and why this time. If you can really answer those kind of questions clearly for the panel, that really goes a long way to making you be a really competitive application. Before we move on to the shows, just wanted to check if anyone had any questions at this stage, just about the application process or the forms or accessing the guidelines, anything there. I think you do have the capacity to save your application and return to it, which is really helpful. And that application, that preview form that you saw, we could kind of see that there were in the preview form, all of those sections highlighted in pale blue, that's where you need to provide a response. So it's kind of a good way to kind of prep your responses, prep your application in a Word document before you then go and load it into the portal to give yourself lots of, save yourself a bit of anxiety. Emma, do you have a question?
Yeah, sorry, I just got a little bit confused about, there was a list of, are they current touring shows?
Ooh, we're coming up to all that bit in a minute.
Okay, so yeah, I was just confused about their relevance to what we're doing, but you'll answer that,
Yep.
sounds like. Thank you.
Yep. Well, that's good. Well, I think that's the only question so far. So yeah, I might move on to part 2. Now come back to where we were. So the touring program is, I'll just share screen again, get myself back. So the RAV touring program. So we run a program in conjunction with small regional presenters. I'll just skip ahead to where we were. In acknowledging that this program exists, and RAV has very much our whole Connecting Places program that we run is designed to support community presenters. So we work with the network of performing arts centres, the VAPAC network, but we also work with the community presenters who are the people like yourselves, people who don't get programming funding from Creative Victoria. There's often volunteers or local government arts and culture officers who are working with hall committees and volunteer groups who want to put on great fun events in their town and bring shows to the town. So our touring program is entirely suitable for the community presenter network. So everything that RAV has got available for touring next year is designed to be agile, to not need a lot of infrastructure. The artists are able to bring all the equipment with them to deliver the show, and they're all professional acts. They're all professional shows who are used to working in a variety of kind of different spaces. They're touring shows that don't necessarily need all the bells and whistles of a big main stage theatre, but they can be in community venues, in sheds, in town halls, in community halls. We even did one in a pizza shop once, which was pretty great. The touring program that we coordinate, Luth and myself, would be your contact people, and RAV covers the travel for those shows. We offer a technical package, so if for an additional fee of $500, if you've got a hall that has no lighting or sound, but you've got a stage and you've got a kitchen and you've got chairs and tables and a willing audience, the company can bring the lighting and sound gear with them. Now, that sort of $500 isn't enough directly to cover the cost of the hire of that kind of gear, but RAV puts a little bit towards that. And when we get a few venues on a tour who can all kind of pay a little bit towards covering the hire of the gear, that works out pretty well to cover those costs, which is really good. To book shows in the RAV touring program, you do need to register with us as a community presenter, which is supplying some of the information that you need to apply for the SRP, which is our shorthand for Small Regional Presenters Fund. So things like just your business, your business contracting name and ABN, and verifying that you're an organisation who has the capacity to enter into a contracting arrangement with us to book a show. I will switch to, so coming back to the RAV website, actually before I do that, I might just go, the other suite of works that we have is we call our production menu. So this is a new initiative for us here at RAV. We know that we've got 7 projects on offer for the network, but there might not be something in there that works for you and your audience. We also have been running this program for a few years, and we get a lot of interest from artists who really want to bring their shows out for halls touring. They hear all about the suppers. They hear all about the great chats that they have with community afterwards. They hear all these great stories from the road, and there are tons of artists who are really keen to come out and tour regionally and connecting with communities, because they're storytellers. They're interested in story. They're interested in people. They're interested in connecting with you. So we've got a menu this year for the first time of a whole range of shows which either they've been through RAV's touring program before, been really successful, or they've applied to be part of the Connecting Places touring program. So they've been through kind of a process with RAV where we've talked to them about what it is to tour through halls, or we know that they've done halls touring elsewhere. So they're prepared. They're a bit prepared for a bit more of a rough and ready kind of touring, but they are absolutely up for it, and they are all prepared to come and bring their own gear if needed. Some of them will offer that kind of tech package support, some may not. And it would be good to check in with them around travel arrangements as well. Some of them will have travel costs built into their fees. Some of them might be really open to having a chat to you about the show fee. In exchange, if you've got an Airbnb, you can put them up if they don't have to pay for accommodation. There's an opportunity there to kind of talk to you about fees. So if we come in here, we've got info for venues and presenters is a really good place to start on the touring page. And here you can see the small regional presenters production menu and RAV's 2026 touring program. So for our touring program, these are all shows that we have handpicked for the network. We've got 3 of them: Claire Della and the Moon, Scott's BMX Trick Bike Show, and a little bit of Blue. All our family focused for kids sort of at primary school age. And they are all part of the creative learning program. So they will be doing school touring as well as doing touring to Connecting Places venues as well. So you can go onto their page and have a little look through. We've got a bit of a synopsis of the show, talk about what that experience is going to be like. And then in the About This Event page, we've got a bit more detailed information about it. Presented by Scott Hone from Circus Oz, tour window on demand. So that means his show is available pretty much due at any time during the year. We tour mainly through March to end of October, acknowledging that outside of those windows is when you guys are mostly busy with either harvest times, or it's bushfire season, or it's Christmas, or everyone's kind of having a little bit of a break over summer. So we do most of our touring March to October. We sometimes push into November a little bit, but we don't ever do really touring in January and Feb. It's just that's not a great time. That's also a time when a lot of local councils put on a lot of touring for sort of kids and families, and they're pushing a lot of stuff. Anyway, you can see here suitable venues, what sort of spaces it's good for, age groups, and then fees down here. So what you'll be looking at is fee for community presenters. We have a slightly higher fee for the PAC network. So that's our Performing Arts Centre network. So that's like the Riverlinks in Shepparton, or the Copac Performing Art, Colac Bay Performing Arts Centre. The bigger venues with the big theatres who get a lot of funding for programming from council or from Creative Victoria. The package there is available, and coming down below, there's a bit more here for other details. So artist details, you can click on the video, have a watch about, see what that show's all about. A little more about the company or the artist. Find out more, that'll take you through to his website. You can find out more. And room requirements, just a little bit about what do they need for a space. They're fairly light on. They just need, for this show, doesn't need very much at all. But he does need a reasonably large space because he's doing tricks on a bicycle. So he needs a bit of rolling around. content warning. So that's just anything that you need to be advertising at a point of sale. What is, is there swearing? Is there language? Is there adult concepts? Those sorts of things. The things that you usually see on a sign outside the venue. So these are great. So we've got 3 sort of kids shows. We've got Cinderella, who's a regionally based artist, Elise Fisher from up around Albury Wodonga area, doing a cabaret about her experience and on the dating apps. And she's sort of telling her stories through the lens of the fairy godmother and through the history of Disney princesses. Love and romance in the modern age with a Disney twist. So this is an adult show. This is going to be a really good fun classic kind of hens night, giggle night, adult themes, sexual references. That one's not for the kids. Additional offerings. So she also has workshops available. Most of our artists do. So when you're looking at your SRP application and thinking about what is the development opportunity for my community, so knowing that that's a requirement of the SRP grant, we look for artists and ask our artists if they're prepared to do something other than the performance, other than the stage show, what other kind of creative exchange can take place. And they really enjoy that side of it too. Songs for Halls is a really great show. That's a more live music show. Charles Jenkins and Dave Cosma. So they are singer-songwriters, really well known through the kind of music festival circuits. They are coming out, they're touring. They did a little bit of this touring last year and we loved it so much we wanted to put them in our program, because as they tour, they will write a song for your town, for your community, and you can hear the love letter to Mildura in their little video here. And that's a really special kind of offering that is kind of not really done very much. So David, and maybe with Charles, maybe just David, he'll come out in the first half of the year and visit anyone who books the show. And then he'll go back and write all the songs. And then in the second half of the year, we'll head out on the road with the band and they will do the performances and perform that song in your hall for the very first time. Really excited about that one. We've also got Marcus Ryan, Pray Walk. So Marcus was our award winner from Melbourne Fringe last year. He's also a regionally based artist, comes from down Wonthaggi way. He is a great storyteller. He's got a background in stand-up comedy, but he's really leaned into the storytelling of his trip doing the Camino de Santiago and going completely unprepared, completely untrained, but talking about what sort of a life-changing experience that was for him. Wherever he goes, he attracts a huge audience from people who've done the Camino walk tours. They come out of the woodwork for this show. He recently did a show in St Kilda and had a sellout show. We kind of did it a bit off the cuff, just had an opportunity to put on a show, sold out of the small venue. They had to put him on in the big venue. People turn up for this one. It's been really amazing. So he's really excited to get out, and he's done a lot of international touring. He's done a lot of festivals all around the world, but he hasn't done a lot around regional Victoria, so super keen to get out and about. And the last one I just want to touch on our program, which is really new and special and exciting for us, is we are partnering with Songlines Aboriginal Music. So they are an incredible organisation who are all about supporting, promoting, nurturing, providing opportunities for Indigenous singer-songwriters. They've got contacts all over Victoria in all of the different parts of the state. So we will work with them to put on. It's a bit different to the other ones. It's a 2-part event. One is it's a gathering kind of conversation in the afternoon, and it is a concert in the evening. So this is in response to a lot of feedback we've had over the last sort of 3 or 4 years from community presenters saying, look, we've got an appetite in our community First Nations artists and artwork. We really want to bring some more, but we know that there are things we need to know and we don't know what they are. And with the performing arts centres, they get opportunity to do a lot of cultural awareness training and to be a bit prepared and have formed those connections with the local representative Aboriginal land councils, the Aboriginal registered parties, who are the people who can speak for country and in their community. And so Songlines are really keen to do that with you and for you. So they will connect with your local elders and have host an afternoon kind of gathering session. We'll provide some catering. We'll have a bit of a chat. We'll get to meet who's local in your area. And then in the evening, we'll have a live show with a young emerging artist, some local artists, and bring a headliner out as well. So that is going to be pretty amazing. There's a couple of local councils that we've spoken to who are really keen and interested in this and doing this in partnership with whole committees. So that's an opportunity maybe that you could talk to your local council about, because often they can get behind and help support events like this. But very happy to have a chat to you a bit more if you're interested in taking this one on. That is that one. So that's our program. So they're the shows that we're touring. You can have a little look at the other two, Claire Della and the Moon, a little bit of blue. They're both gorgeous puppetry focused shows for kids. But our new program that we're sharing with you is the Small Regional Presenters Production Menu. So alongside Rav's touring program, this you might look at what our program and go, yep, none of those are right for me. Here are some other amazing productions that you can book. So Fort, Christy and Luke from Asking for Trouble, they've done lots of regional touring. Each of these different profiles, similar kind of information. Here's the fee, here's how to get in contact, here's where it's suitable for. Again, down here, artist details, some tech requirements, content warnings, what else do we offer? All the same kind of setup. We've tried to pull together a mix of theatre, of circus. This one's going to be amazing. Flick, Maddie Nunn, who's from Three Birds Theatre, she's done a bit of touring around. She's currently in New York because her career is taking off and she is going gangbusters. So this is a solo show that we saw at La Mama last year. She's done touring with Garage Girls previously, and what's the Three Birds, One Cock, which was a Hitchcock kind of noir drama thing, which we toured in Connecting Places a couple of years ago. And her career, she's now on the rise in a big way. Magic and illusion-based show. This guy is one of the most incredible close-up magic performers I've ever seen. That's a bit of razzle-dazzle, a bit of old-fashioned vaudeville touring variety gorgeousness. Casting off, did some touring last year and it was really beautiful. They did lots of shows where they had a craft session where people were welcome to come and bring their crafting project before the show. A whole lot of different things. And look, just pointing you in this too, that there is one more over the page. There is we've kind of got 9 on one page and 1 on the other. There's an extra one over there. Looking at time, I'm not going to talk about them all, but please do go in and have a little look, have a work through. Those artists are really keen to have a chat to you and really up for having a conversation about how to make a show work for your community, for your hall. So Jazz High Tea, for instance, they will do an evening show or a daytime show. They can theme it. It can, there's lots of options to make it suitable for you. So with those artists, now we're not involved in coordinating those tours, so you'd be negotiating with them directly. You'd be talking to them about fees, about dates, about times, and if you look, we're here if you have any questions or if you're a bit worried about how to have some of those conversations. More than happy to have a chat with you and help you kind of navigate those conversations. But we're really excited to kind of see you have a bit more direct contact and a bit more direct access to some of these incredible touring artists. Now, as Jim said, not everyone, you are also very welcome to look for a show of that you want to bring. I know we work with, I know there's, you might have a beautiful church organ and you desperately want someone to come and compose a work for your choir who knows how to compose for pipe organs. You're not going to find anything like that in our programs, but you know exactly who you want. Absolutely go to town and book the artist, book the show, book the experience that works for you and your community. And as I say, coming back to that idea, why is this artist the right person, the right company to bring to your community at this time? What is that exchange going to deliver? It may be one of these. They're all fantastic, but it may also be someone else. We're conscious that we're trying to provide you with lots of opportunity to kind of expand out a little bit rather than just the touring program that we offer. As much as we want you to book our shows, we want you to have a great time. So either option is equally viable. I might stop talking there for a minute and just check if there's any other questions around any of what I've just been talking about. Super clear. Love that. Oh, here we go. Bill.
From Bill.
Yeah. Hello. I do have a question. I've been successful in one of these rounds in the past, working with a community organisation called Marysville Information and Regional Arts Centre in Marysville in Murrindindi. There's no longer an arts coordinator there, but I'm still doing a lot of sort of art work in the Shire, but have extended past Marysville. Is this something you could do if I was to look at booking a tour myself through the region, so expanding out from my own town and go to my Shire, is that something I could do through this program, or does it have to be place-based specific?
Absolutely.
And only be in one place? I've done a lot of booking. I run a music festival here. I've done plenty of booking, so I'd be comfortable in booking a program to get a tour around our region. But I just want to make sure that it doesn't have to be connected to one place.
No, we're very happy, and we work with some LGAs who do a bit of that. They might book a show for a week rather than a single date, and they'll have it in their prime venue on like a Wednesday night, and then they'll go out to 3 or 4 different halls on Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So open to those kind of conversations as well. In terms of the small regional presenters funding, it is for outcomes in Victoria. So it doesn't support activity across state line because it's Creative Victoria funding. So they're funding activity within the state of Victoria. But in terms of Shire boundaries, we're very
we're keeping within our region, but I think extending past that, like our community is only 400 people, so there's only a very limited capacity of stuff that we can do here. If we extend it past that region, and we've got so many small halls that are underutilized and under-resourced, and as soon as you say I want to bring something there, everyone's like, oh my god, this is amazing. But
and I think that's kind of why this program, that's partly the reason for the origin of the SRP, is that acknowledging that you can't afford to put shows on with box office when your town's only got 250 people there. Some of the audiences are only 50, 60 people for some of these shows. So if you can get some funding to cover most of your costs, so you're not relying on box office, you can do shows in small towns.
It's forever a battle.
Much more achievable. Yeah, and if you've got a little consortium of 3 or 4 different halls, like that's a really strong application. If you've got a letter of support from 4 different halls, we're all collaborating together, we're working together, we'd be really keen to, I think that's great.
Right. Thank you.
All right, well, we might close it off there. I think that's the end of questions. Similar to Jim, we've got a booking button on the website for touring, so you can book a time with either Luth or myself. We'll also have another team member. Some of you may remember Lorraine Little. She's going to come and work with us across October as well, while we're in this busy touring time. And so her name will pop up there as well. She'll be available as another person to chat to about booking shows and about about artists and even just having a little talk through about, here's my community, I'm trying to figure out what's the best thing to do. We're really happy we love hearing about what you're doing and what your needs are, and really keen to have those chats. So jump in and we're kind of limiting our phone calls to 15 minutes, so hopefully that's going to be enough, but we'll see how we go. Thanks so much everyone for coming. Thanks Jim and Luth for being there in the background, and we look forward to seeing you in a hall and hearing about all the exciting things you're planning for next year.